Kenyan President William Ruto has explained why Africa and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia would make great partners moving forward. According to Ruto, Africa and Saudi Arabia's energy resources, youthful and growing population, and combined trade potential are solid similarities that would make for an excellent partnership. He made these comments at the first ever Saudi-African summit that took place in Riyadh on Friday, November 11, 2023, an event that brought together leaders from more than 50 countries to develop relations and cooperation between Africa and Saudi Arabia and promote strategic partnerships.
To contextualize the relationship that can be forged out of this meeting. Number one, between Saudi and Africa, we have the energy of the present and the energy of the future. The energy of the present, Saudi Arabia has tremendous resources of fossil fuels, maybe almost 20%. For the energy, renewable energy of the future, Africa has 40% of wind, solar, hydro, geothermal, renewable energy. Combining the energy resources of Saudi Arabia and Africa gives us the energy that we can use today to power our development, and gives us also the potential for the energy for tomorrow and the future in unlocking the huge potential of energy in Africa. Saudi Arabia has the opportunity to invest in renewable energy resources in the Congo Basin, in the hydro, in the Sahel region with the solar resources we have, in East Africa with all the resources we have. Kenya has already 93% of our grid being renewable energy. And therefore, there is confirmation of the huge potential of that energy. Number two is that we have a young and growing population both in Saudi Arabia and Africa. 65% of Africa's population is below 30, and close to 40% of the population of Saudi Arabia is below 30. On average, between our two regions, Saudi Arabia and Africa, our average age is 25. And with a population of close to 1.5 billion people, we not only have the workforce for the present, but we also have the workforce for the future combined. And much more importantly, we have the market for the future. By 2050, 40% of the global workforce will come from our region. And by the turn of the century, 30% of the world population will be living in our corner. Therefore, we have all the ingredients to take this into the future. And finally, we have the combined trade potential. Africa today contributes only 3% of the world's trade. Being small means there is great room for improvement. And therefore, between Saudi Arabia and Africa, we can unlock huge potential of trade, enormous opportunity for investment, and with the capital resources in Saudi Arabia and natural resources in our continent, we can not only power the engines of green manufacturing, green industrialization, and use the opportunity that exists not only to create jobs for the millions of young people in our continent, but to create green products, whether it is food and food products from our millions of acres in our region, but also green industrial minerals, green steel from our renewable energy, and green minerals for which our continent is endowed. Already Saudi Arabia is doing a lot in assisting in the finance of our continent. They support the World Bank, they support the IMF. I think that support can also go to African Development Bank, Trade Development Bank, AFC, East African Development Bank, and all the other institutions that support African growth. My request to the Saudi friends is to support these African institutions so that they can support our own economies. And with what we have done in our continent, consolidating the African market of 1.3 billion people into one market under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, we should be able to unlock the tremendous potential that exists. And therefore, this meeting becomes significant in that it not only addresses the present, but it also gives us opportunity to unlock the potential of the future.
President William Ruto's comments at the first ever Saudi African Summit underscore the significant potential for a robust partnership between Africa and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Ruto rightly emphasizes the shared wealth of energy resources possessed by both regions. Africa's vast reserves of oil, natural gas, and renewable energy sources, coupled with Saudi Arabia's established position as a major oil producer, create a foundation for collaboration in energy exploration, production, and technology transfer. This cooperation could lead to increased energy security and economic growth for both regions. Secondly, Africa and Saudi Arabia share a youthful and growing population, representing a demographic dividend that could drive economic development and innovation. By harnessing the potential of their young people, both regions can foster entrepreneurship, technological advancement, and skilled labor forces. Collaboration in education, training, and job creation could empower this demographic to contribute to economic growth and social progress. Also, it is common knowledge that Africa and Saudi Arabia have immense combined trade potential. Africa's vast natural resources and growing consumer market, combined with Saudi Arabia's financial strength and strategic location, create opportunities for increased trade and investment. By facilitating trade flows, streamlining customs procedures, and promoting regional value chains, both regions can boost economic growth and create shared prosperity. Therefore, by leveraging their respective strengths, both regions can foster economic growth, create employment opportunities, and enhance their global standing. The first ever Saudi African Summit marks a significant step towards realizing this potential, and continued dialogue and cooperation will be crucial in achieving the shared goals of both regions. So, what do you make of President William Ruto's comments at the first Saudi African Summit? Let us know what you think in the comments section below. And as always, do subscribe to the New Africa channel for more interesting future videos.